What would it take for you to see you? Truly.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hope all of you guys are hanging on in there. Okay. Alright, so I pulled a card for this energy that this Cancer new moon has brought in for us as a collective, right? And the card that came out was full moon in Capricorn, right? So I read it and I was like, okay, I want to do a reading on this energy because this is absolutely beautiful energy, you guys. I know for some of us, okay, we may feel like, you know, not a whole lot is changing and happening, but listen to me, okay? Like, it's literally right around the corner. Okay, so let me read this first, and then I want to do a little reading on the energy, okay? All right, so full moon in Capricorn, the end of a tough cycle approaches. Okay, and this is the energy based upon this last Cancer new moon, like the energy that it brought in. Okay. All right, so this says, how hard are you willing to work for what you want? This card is reminding you that effort is required. Now I know, right? Because when I first read it, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? More work? But listen, okay. This card, I'm sorry, the end of a rough time is forecast. This card also asks you to consider how ambitious you are and whether you're prepared to pull out all the stops to make your professional dreams come true without being ruthless. With the love question, this card can be a call to face reality. Whatever situation you're asking about, making a plan will help. If your personal life is troubled, prioritize it more. Release control and trust the universe. And that's the direct message from the moon energy. Release control and trust the universe. Admit if you have been overly hard-headed or hard-nosed. Find a balance between your personal and your private lives. It's time to stop fearing the worst. The full moon in Capricorn has a very strong work ethic and energy and will more than likely come up when you're asking a professional question. If your question is about another matter, it will serve as a much-needed reminder to move through any feelings of hopelessness that you may have been feeling about your situation. And this applies no matter when you draw this card. Making a plan is a far better use of your time. Okay, so overall, like what I'm getting from this energy is, it's like everything that we have been learning, right, on this spiritual journey. For those of you that, definitely for those of you who've been on this spiritual journey for a long time, okay, like you've learned something. You're still in the process of learning. You still don't have your clarity all the way just yet, right? Or you do have it, but you're not, your feelings doesn't match it, right? And if that's the case, then it's like more time is needed in nurturing your feelings to that, whatever that truth is for you, right? But what I'm looking at this energy as for the collective, it's like time for us to take what we have learned, right, and start applying it. And that's where the work is coming from, I feel. Okay? Let's go ahead and do a little reading, all right, you guys? So listen, I'm definitely picking up like a beautiful cycle. The end of a tough cycle approaches at the end of the day. That's what it's saying. All right, so let's see here. Give me the energy, please, as a collective. So this is a collective reading. If it resonates, it resonates. And if it doesn't, it just doesn't, okay? Hang on in there, y'all, okay? Listen. One shuffle. All right, show the world the real you. They're going to make me talk about this in this video. Your dreams need a practical plan. Hold your vision. Yes. A time for healing. And what do you need to release? Absolutely beautiful. Yes. Look at this. Bottom of the deck. You are very close to achieving your goal. Absolutely. Beautiful thing. Beautiful. All right, let's get some clarifying real quick on these cards. So I'm definitely picking up, there's definitely a major change, specifically in dealing with divine feminine energy when it comes to your work or your career, you know, like your projects, your purpose. Your purpose, because we have the full moon in Aquarius here. Show the world the real you. This is Aquarius energy. And I know I touched a little bit on this on Patreon about me talking about the energy of the age that we're in, the age of Aquarius, and what that means for the collective, as far as, you know, what that energy is and how we can tap into it or use it or understand it enough where it works for us rather than against us, right? But this is definitely a major change when it comes to like your career, stepping more into your purpose, divine feminine energy. And it's definitely emotional. It's definitely tied into the emotional realm, your purpose. Look at this, like the water bearer, right? Has everything to do with our emotions. Our emotions really like portray our actions or reactions, because our emotions. Clarify these cards, please. How we damn feel, basically. How you feel is what you pretty much asking to create at the end of the day. That's what's happening, okay? All right, so we have the King of Swords in reverse. The Three of Swords in reverse. Lord have mercy. The Hermit. The Six of Swords. And the Nine of Swords. Absolutely come through. Look at this. A karmic cycle has ended. Karma card in reverse, you guys. To go along with the theme of you're very close to achieving your goal. How close? The next card close. The Nine of Pentacles, which has always been the goal. True self-love. Where the love that you have for yourself is enough. Where you truly understand that your value comes from within. Your value comes from who you are as a person. How do you handle yourself and how you handle others around you. Understanding your true value. But see, healing had to take place first. And it still is taking place. But we've hit a cycle here. With the karma in reverse. Listen. Hold on, you guys. Somebody calling me. Okay. All right, so let's see here. Okay. Yeah, it's the Nine of Pentacles. That's what it's about. Okay. So we have the King of Swords in reverse, which show the world the real you. This has something to do with relationships. Get more clear, Spirit. Clarify the King of Swords in reverse with the show the world the real you. Fairness. Nurture at the bottom of the deck. Lord have mercy. Okay. Okay, y'all be open to the message, okay? Be just open. Just be open to receive it. Don't resonate, it don't resonate. I'm just saying, be open, okay? Show the world the real you. Mayat with fairness. Because at the end of the day, like real talk, at the end of the day, true, genuine energy, which is divine energy. Divine energy is true, genuine ass energy at the end of the day, right? So being someone that's genuine is going to naturally be fair. It's going to naturally want things to be fair and just, right? Which has been really playing out in the collective as far as things just not like feeling fair. It's just not right. It ain't fair. You know what I'm saying? But what was missing was like clarity, wisdom, more knowledge. You know, the King of Swords is like, he holds the sword of truth, right? He has the truth. And because he has the truth, like, fairness makes sense. Okay? The situation will be handled in a fair and just manner. It's like balance is being restored. Right? Balance is being restored. So don't allow anyone else, kind of like what I'm getting, don't allow anyone else to block you from really being who you really are at the end of the day. Because this is definitely like, you know, someone that has been on a healing journey. Your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus with the Three of Swords in reverse. So Three of Swords, you know, this is what I'm talking about. It's like the healing that was needed was like in the heart space. Three of Swords. You have the Sword of Truth in there. You got the Two of Swords going back and forth, doubting it. And then because of that, you got the Three of Swords. Now you're in the energy of like rejection. And it first starts with the soul's thoughts. This is mental first before it becomes physical. I know this may be deep, y'all, okay? Hit a blunt or something. But no, I mean, this is in reverse, though. So it's like healing has been taking place in the energy of like abandonment and rejection and, you know, just constant disappointment, you know, causing frustration and like all of that, you know. But a heart healing had to be had. That's why this nurture came out with it. With fairness. Nurturing was what was really needed. Nurturing is what's needed now for the entire world, y'all. I know this is like, I'm so serious. Like, compassion is what's really needed for this world. If you really take a look at what the hell's going on, there is such a lack of compassion. Right? And as a collective, it's like the majority rules. So if there's like a huge collective of lack of compassion, or a collective that is in need of more compassion, what can you really do? Because this energy is like naturally want to help, naturally want to support, you know, you want to support yourself, right? You've been learning how to also give that same support to yourself throughout this process. But it is also about supporting others as well. But not to the point where your energy is being drained. Meaning, you have to know how to balance that out. Balance. So healing is still taking place during this time. It's like the final, you know, not final, but it's just part of the process. Okay? Because we have the Hermit here with Hold Your Vision with the Hermit. You know, it's like this is definitely with the Hermit card. The Hermit asks for a complete like surrender to your higher self in the middle of the unknown. You don't know where you're at. Like all you have is that little ass light, right? And so your path is only like, you can only see your path the more that you walk. But it's almost like, I feel like this is like saying like hold your vision, but like take source, universe, God, your higher self, however you look at that energy, like take that with you. Let that guide you during this time, during these final stages of healing. You know what I mean? To the point where you're no longer in this energy, which is so crazy how that came out. But you're gonna have to let your higher self guide you through this time, because really all that you're walking through is your own shadow. What's that saying in the Bible when they say, what's the psalm? Yea, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Yea, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, right? Death card, it's like your transformation. You're transforming your shadow self. All the parts that, you know, you may have felt have been rejected. You know what I'm saying? And you yourself may find yourself rejecting those same parts. That's why you get so angry when somebody touches it. You know what I mean? Instead of nurturing it. Because that's what's really needed. I shall fear no evil. Meaning, I shall not be scared. Beautiful. A time for healing. There it is. With the Six of Swords. It's like a cycle has been reached here, you guys. It's very beautiful. Because in the position where it says, well, what do you need to release? The Nine of Swords. It first starts with self. Thinking worst case scenarios is the Nine of Swords. Because you have been so conditioned, your hurt and your pain and your disappointment and your frustration has been so much and so heavy, right? Your mind has been conditioned to automatically think that that's, you know, what's normally going to happen. It's coming. It's right around the corner. And it's because your mind has been mentally, well, your mind has been conditioned to think that way about yourself. That's why they say the Nine of Swords is like, you know, self-doing, you know what I mean? You're in your own mental prison. You know what I mean? Like, this is actually really beautiful, you guys. It's so lets me know that this higher source, us, right, at the end of the day, such a loving energy. What do you need to release? Thinking worst case scenarios in the midst of the unknown. That's why you need your higher self with you. To hold your true vision. Fucking beautiful. Beautiful. I'm definitely going to come back and do a reading on this Aquarius energy, you guys, okay? But let's go ahead and pull a guidance card for career. And we'll pull a guidance card for relationships at this time, okay, or your love life. Let's get a guidance card for career first. Shuffle. Wow. God is your source. Good God Almighty. This ain't Aquarius energy. I'm trying to tell you. With victory at the bottom of the deck. Guidance for the career at this time, you guys. Everything you need is supplied by the infinite source of God, and your faith opens the doorway to receive. In God, there is no lack or limitation. Rather, there is plenty of abundance for all to share. Just imagine if you thought that way and really believed that, like, for real, every day. That's why, like, practice makes perfect. You're worth your own effort at the end of the day. Beautiful. If God is our source of supply, then what's the problem again? You know what I'm saying? All right, what's the guidance in dealing with relationships and love life here, or love? Let me shuffle. Forgiveness. Nothing can be gained by holding on to past disappointments. Absolutely nothing. I'll tell you what's going to be gained. Another damn one of these nights. Dark night of the soul. And it's really coming from all you focusing. And I'm not saying it to be like blaming. It's not nothing about blaming. It's about becoming aware. Right? Because when I tell y'all, when I was in this energy right here, this is some heavy ass energy. When I look back on it, the thoughts that I was thinking was the absolute worst thoughts about my life at that time. And because I was thinking that way about myself, you don't think that I wasn't going to feel it? But forgiveness when it comes to love and relationships, you guys, because you're not the only one who thinks this way. You're not the only one that has been conditioned to also think worst case scenarios. You're not the only one. This situation will be handled in a fair and just manner. You're not the only one with this type of condition. Okay? Nothing can be gained by holding on to past disappointments. Beautiful. Consider your foundation. You are being asked to look at love, to look at how committed you are to love. Beautiful. All right, let's get a spirit message. Very powerful energy, you guys, at this time. Okay, remember, surrender and let your higher self, God, universe, source, however you look at that energy, guide you at this time. Okay, this is like beautiful work, though. It's such beautiful work. Okay, we got two cards that came out: going beyond normal and heaven sent. Wow, beautiful. Beautiful. All right, let's read this going beyond normal, number 14. All right, so this says, on the path of life, there are deciding moments where we can choose to go with the mainstream, or we can dare to take a bolder, more authentic and trusting way, even if it seems riskier or less safe. To rely solely on logic and science without incorporating the mysterious and magical is a recipe for an existence that's far too dry. The sacred rebel within our hearts will always choose a juicier approach to life. You are currently approaching such a choice point. You could say that the choice is about balance. It is less about choosing to honor either art or science, gardening, and more about integrating all approaches so that you can enhance rather than hinder your life's journey. Basing decisions on limited factors with imbalanced measure of success is unnecessarily limiting. This approach prevents us from living freely and with trust so that we can rebel against the need for things to go strictly according to plan. Choose to value decisions based on passion and instinct, and trust in life enough to embrace it as an adventure and let it all unfold as it will. Wow. There's a time and a place for logic, strategy, planning, measurable outcomes. These are not bad tools to have, but we must not worship them or allow them to squash our less rational but equally valuable decision-making tools, which is intuition, feelings, and those things that you know without knowing how you know them. On the other hand, there's a lot of stuff here. Hold on, you guys. Okay. You've been asked to stay open to the intuitive approach in your life, your work, your creativity, as well as in your spiritual journey. The intuitive approach can be likened to the method of a gardener or an artist. There's a sense of what might work where and a loose or even detailed plan, but how the plan is carried out will depend on and respond to the flow of its surroundings. Absolutely. How you feeling about it, how you are feeling about your journey based on where you are. Loving yourself regardless of the conditions that you may find yourself in. Loving yourself unconditionally. Fucking beautiful. There is no need to control the situation, but rather a desire to nurture an idea into fruition. You may have some pressures around you from the world or from your own conditioned nature. What that damn card is. Right? From your own conditioned nature. What was I at? Sorry, guys, I lost it. Okay, here we go. You may have pressures around you from the world or from your own conditioned nature to do things according to the rules, to a deadline, or to the accepted mainstream view that you need a well thought out plan for success in a commercial venture. However, sometimes the best plan is to do what feels intuitively truthful in the moment and to trust that you are being led towards your own growth. Adopting this approach means you have to do far less planning and far more living. Beautiful. It is a pure and heart-centered way to manifest your art, your life path, and your essence into practical expression in this world. It involves a willingness to be led by nature instead of trying to control the powerful force of life, which is a bit like trying to fit an ocean in a teacup. It is far more intelligent to allow the ocean to be the ocean and to learn to swim in it rather than trying to cram it into a vessel that is much too small. This oracle brings you a special piece of guidance. You are moving outside of the plan. You are living on the border of what is socially accepted. This is good. This is fringe-dwelling freedom. Others might not see this about you straight away as you seem pretty normal, But that streak is just waiting to show itself. And maybe you are an out and proud fringe dweller, completely comfortable with this way of being. Either way, this oracle brings you the message that you now have a chance to live from the heart more deeply and expressively than ever before. You now have a chance to live from your heart without these damn swords in them. At the end of the day, right? All right, sorry, you guys. Okay, than ever before. It wants you to realize that this is a legitimate, empowered, and creative way to live that honors all of who you are. You can give up forcing or squashing yourself down into a very limited set of so-called desirable qualities like intellect and control. If you are yet to relate to this consciously, this oracle brings you the further message that you're going to be breaking with tradition. Perhaps not entirely, but at least in a way that is meaningful to you. This will require you to have courage in the convictions and faith in your heart's truths. This will help you and inspire others around you to step out of fear and live more freely and lovingly. Wow. You are not necessarily meant to abandon logic and intellect altogether. You are to use them to serve the desires of the heart rather than to replace its natural, spontaneous, and truthful nature with controlled planning and narrow strategy. It's time to get a bit wild and let nature take its course. Wow, this is definitely talking about working through your heart space. Like this thing said, you are to use logic and intellect to serve the desires of the heart, going beyond normal. Beautiful. And it's a mental card. You know, this is like, I'm getting like third eye energy from this image. It's like she's seeing life in a different way. Therefore, different has no other choice but to show up at her doorstep or his doorstep. Fucking beautiful energy. All right, you guys. Well, there is your reading. Thank you so much. Hang on in there, and I'll talk to you later.